Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez
and me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
Whoa, man. Joe, I've never seen that intro. Cody's off behind, but we usually get a different intro for this podcast, but that was electric. I'm not going to lie. I love Jason jumping in, being like, my name's Jason Fernandez. I'm Jason Ackerman. And it was like, oh, wow. I was not expecting that. Have you seen that intro before, Joe?
No, I never have. I've watched a couple episodes of this, and no, that was new to me.
That was totally new. I feel like Cody hit the wrong button, so I'm so stoked that we've got.
I saw you in there though. I saw you in there with your mustache and little beanie.
Was I in there?
There, very quickly. It was like they just want people to know, like, hey, he's here too.
Whoa! I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that because I was looking for it. I didn't see Jack Diddley. So
you're in there at the very end. You have to go back and see it at the very end.
Dang. Wow, that's impressive. Anyway, in case anyone watching doesn't know, that was Cody who just hopped in, and Cody's going to be behind the scenes today. Johnny A is here. Corey's here. Cool. LFG. Let's go. So we got Joe today. Joe is from CrossFit Spring Hill, and we recently learned he was previously a musician. And Joe, I don't know if you know this, but my band played at the Aromas Ranch during the regionals in 2000. Goodness gracious. What was it? 2011? 2012? No, 2009? 10? I don't know. It was a while ago. 10. I might have been 10. Yeah, I used to be in a band.
Nice. What did you play? What do you play?
I sing, and I sing poorly. I am not good at that, but I do it, and I love it, and it was so fun, and that was what we did. But yeah, we got to play at the ranch after
really
day one
cool.
of regionals. It was pretty fun.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh man, Cody, come on!
Dang! Whoa! Look at that stud. A smoldering look there. Ooh,
look at that hair.
That's you. Nice.
Yep.
I love it.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate that.
Well, here we go.
Well, hey, since Cody put that up, if you guys don't know, Cody is a musician. You play in a band, and he used to follow my band when he was like 13 years old and learn the songs, and he was a little groupie, right, Cody?
That's right. I'm going to say yes for Cody. What was the name of the band? Robbie, what was the name of your band, Joe?
Day of Fire.
Day of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Matt Burns says, Cody, the mullet game's picking up. It truly is. He's got a fantastic mullet. Those are in right now. I keep on trying to tell my wife that we should cut our kids big fat mullets, but she says no. Oh, my band name. My brand name was named after a Magic card, Magic the Gathering, because I was a nerd. We were Skybreaker. That was the name of our band. We called it funk because it was like funk mix, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rise Against, stuff like that.
Love it.
I don't pretend to not be a nerd, Cody. How dare you? All right, let's jump into your video here, Joe. We got it going. Is there anything I should know about before watching this video? Like, you're going to randomly start smacking people in the butt or something, and then I'm going to need to call the authorities.
No, I don't think, no. It's pretty straightforward class. Yeah, heavy day, snatches. It was a fun day. Cool. It was this past Monday, so.
Okay, cool. This past Monday. I love the blue PVCs. Yeah. Let's get after it.
We have a heavy day today. On a Monday, it's a snatch complex. And it is every 2 minutes for 20 minutes. So that's 10 total sets of one power snatch.
Robbie, I'll play MTG at the games. I'll bring a deck. I make sure I do.
High hang squat snatch.
Not type 2 though.
One power snatch, one hang squat snatch, one high hang squat snatch. 10 sets of that. So looks like this. Power snatch.
Ooh, good movement. Look at you. The barbell with a PVC pipe making it look that poppy.
then we have a high hang squat snatch.
Nice.
Okay.
So
I think it was
I'm
good
usually
hitting the mic so it sounds more poppy than it was.
it's hitting something. Matt asks, what programming is this?
Oh, it's Cap. We follow Cap.
Cool. I'm not the hugest fan of demoing all the movements at the beginning of a class. I know other people love that too. But a movement like this, where it's a complex, I think this is actually the appropriate time to do so, because all of the names sound the same for people. So to get some sense of what's going to be happening, I think this is the time to demo a movement at the beginning of class. I say it all the time, like, stop demoing your movements at the front of class, because it'll be like, we're doing front squats today, and people will be like, and do a couple of front squats. I'm like, they know what a front squat is, and if they don't, they're going to find out come class time. So I think this is a good time to do so. So good job.
10 total sets. In general, we want to build to a heavy loading for this complex, as heavy as your technique will allow. And because it's a snatch and it's a complex, your range you're going to be able to lift in is not going to be.
Cody, we already talked about it's cap programming, but I do appreciate you highlighting that after the fact later. Cody's like half an ear in this game. What's going on with the person stretching in the back there? Who are they?
I think, to be honest, I don't remember exactly. I think they were from a previous class. Yeah, they were from this is a 7 a.m. class I'm coaching. I think they were from the 6 a.m. class, and they were just stretching out in the back. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But they're definitely not a part of this class, though. I know that for sure.
Great.
So you may not necessarily
I'm glad.
every single set, but in general, we want to build to a heavy loading. And it might be that you hit that in round 7 or 8, and then you go down for 9 and 10. That's okay as well. But in general, building to a heavy complex for today. Pre-workout skill work, we have a Tabata of double unders, so we'll get your heart rate up a little bit, get to work on that skill, and that'll be for reps.
Cool.
All right. Any questions? Okay. Sounds good. You guys are going to be on camera.
Nice and engaged.
To get some feedback on
Fantastic.
Okay. So good thing you signed a waiver. I do think because they knew they were on
here we
camera, like everybody was a little bit like, oh, I'm on camera, but
isn't that funny? It's like the second you hit play, like it's no different than anything that they were doing. But imagine even yourself, like whenever I record myself, like for some reason, the second I hit record, all of a sudden, all the stuff that I had just goes out the window. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's no different.
It definitely, I would say in general, it brought the vibe of the class down maybe 15% from what I would normally like it to be, but it's all good.
We'll keep that 15% buffer there.
So the warm-up is 3 sets of 20 jumping jacks, 5 push-ups to down dog, and then we're going to start with 10 pass-throughs, but that movement's going to change each round. On these jumping jacks, I want you to tuck your thumbs over your head, pinkies behind your butt to really open up those shoulders. All right, 20 jumping jacks, 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. Not too much fanfare in the front end. Just tell them to get after it. I like it.
And the AC stopped working again. So yes, it's going to be hot and sweaty, and you're going to need a lot of chalk so the bar doesn't slip out of your hands, but you'll be fine. All right, and then 5 push-ups to down dog.
I like how you're doing it, just walking them right through it. You gave them a little ahead of time. You're like, hey, we're going to jump into this, but then you just kind of have them do it and walk them through. It's how I prefer. Now just keep walking your eyes around, making sure you're seeing whatever's going on here.
All right, and then 10.
So one thing you could do in a scenario like this, you just said 10 push-ups, and everyone here went for real push-ups to do so. To build into your own language and to accommodate more people, it's pretty easy to be like, if you can't do a normal push-up, just go ahead and drop to your knees here, especially when it's during the warm-up, and you'll find people even jump to that anyway. So the more you can front load things like that, where it's just like, hey, if you can't do a normal push-up, just drop to your knees right here. It just sets the tone for the rest of the class of being like, scaling is 100% acceptable, and it's what we do here, because people will often just try to do what everyone around them is doing. So if they're not given that option of like, hey, if you can't do this, just drop to your knees and go ahead and do that, then they'll do like often a shittier version of the real one. Even in these warm-ups, you can build that patterning around scaling's not only okay, but awesome.
Cool.
Can you make your screen bigger, Pat? Yeah, sure. I got you, Cody.
Wide grip, arms straight, squeeze your belly, press up as you go overhead. Work that overhead position.
Good. Scan the group.
Pass-throughs. You all right, Heather?
So what do
Still
you?
work from
So
Saturday?
right here, what do you see on this gentleman at the very end there? So like it looks like you're looking right at him. Let's watch the guy, the older fella,
Wide grip, arms straight,
with
squeeze your
glasses.
belly, press up as you go overhead.
So you demo a couple, people start doing them.
Work
Then
that
you look
overhead
over that
position.
direction and watch him.
10 pass-throughs.
Yep.
What's he
You all
doing?
right, Heather?
Yep. He's
Still
not
work from
going all the
Saturday?
way.
Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. So that's actually my father. And yeah.
Remember when at the beginning of the class when I was like, tell me what's going on?
Sorry. Oh, nothing came to mind, but yeah. So that, but he's a regular member. I mean, he's 70. Cool. He has some limitations, and I'm aware of it, and we talk about it a lot. Like he can't straighten his right arm all the way, and he definitely struggles with overhead position. So you'll hear me talk to him quite a bit in this class about that, and just how to work around it and things. I think at this moment I was talking to the girl next to him, Heather, because she was like grimacing or something, and I was like, "Are you all right?" Because I wasn't sure what was going on. But yes, yeah.
Well, good catch on Heather's grimace, but it sounds like you have a prehistory with your father there. If he goes even wider, is he able to ever do a pass through, or is that's his range?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much his range.
All right, after your 10 pass-throughs, we're going to do.
And I think that's what one of the things you can put at the front end is just like, hey, these should be easy, especially in this first round. Take an extra wide grip. It's just the same thing as the one before, where it's like, drop to your knees on these first push-ups because, we're not warm yet. Same thing on the pass-throughs. It's like, hey, take an extra wide grip to start these off. And all it does is it's just giving you more of a range that people can fall in. Rather than just do some pass-throughs and find the grip wherever it is. Because we have to always remember that these people know nothing. They know nothing.
Yeah.
Two more rounds of this. On the second round, we're going to do 5 around the worlds instead of the pass-throughs, 5 around the worlds per side. And then on the third round, behind the neck, snatch grip, strict press, okay? But the jumping jacks and the push-up to down dog are the same. Jumping jacks.
I always love how there's usually one person in a class who can't do jumping jacks. We're like, how have you made it this far and you can't coordinate jumping jacks?
Fireworks last night? No? I saw some fireworks last night. We went to a friend's place who had shot a bunch of fireworks off.
I love that when you throw something out and it's just like dead.
Yeah.
And you're like,
no.
Hey, and we see fireworks? What are fireworks? Okay. All right.
Regret. It's all right, though. It's good.
Nice. So, yeah, and then these are times where you can scan around, look for somebody struggling, look for somebody maybe not going all the way down, and just be like, hey, try knee push-ups on this one. Or, hey, keep your body a little flatter. Or, hey, keep your feet together on those push-ups. Even though there's not, deep coaching interactions, they just are another touch to where they'll feel more like, oh, that class I was taking care of the whole time. And I'm sure you take care of these people. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
the more of those that we get, the better.
Yep.
Straight arms.
That's good.
Nice.
There you go.
I love awkward silences.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the time you'd normally have some music blaring and you just throw some things in there, but now you're on camera and recorded, so it's all dead time.
Yeah. I actually recorded a whole class last week, and I forgot to turn the music down. So, yeah, I re-record. This is a different one, but yeah.
Is that girl touching her chest to the ground? No, she is not. How dare she? The fittest seeming one in the class.
Uh-huh.
Watch her push up. She's close. She's not there though.
Really push that head through, John. Open up the shoulders. Yeah.
Who is that?
So I was going to say, you asked if there's anything else you should know. It's probably something else I should have told you. just for context's sake, the guy in the yellow next to her, and there's a girl on the other side of the rig in the back, and all three of them are coaches.
Okay.
And that was just like coincidence. They all happened to show up at this class.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's awesome that they train in your gym in the classes.
Yeah.
That's so fantastic.
Yeah,
And
they're amazing.
unbelievable. That's really cool. You must have built something good there that they want to do so. Make her touch her chest to the ground.
Got it. She's probably watching this, Nicole. So
Nicole, touch your chest to the ground. Or maybe she is, and I'm not seeing it.
Mm.
I was like, they all seem to like really take the direction really easily and just nail it.
All right, and then behind the net, snatch grip, trick press. So wide grip. Start with your elbows pointed down toward the ground.
So that kind of explains why your eyes are on the four who
breaking
are
the bar in half as you press that out.
directly in front of you, which is good. I mean, that's fine. You know who your people are. So now this would be a time where
Sam, you're starting with your elbows back like this, pointing down at the ground.
good.
Press up. That's better.
Sam is which one?
she's the girl second down in that row on the left. White shirt,
Got it.
Cool.
light gray shirt, I think.
Yeah. What do you know about who's the gentleman here with the blue shirt?
Dinesh.
Dinesh. What do you know about his press?
He's pressing behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to. Yeah, I see that when I rewatch it. Yep.
And I mean, you're not expected to catch everything. I mean, we get to hit pause and we're looking from a different angle and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it's not like these people are moving fine. But it's always those little things that like, these are all your opportunity to continue to build patterns for everything else they do. Right. So the second they go now into the snatch, like he's pressed behind his head 6 times and he's not going to do that with a barbell. Because if he does, it won't go there. It'll go straight up overhead for the most part. Yeah. But it's always an opportunity to correct it and just build some better movement patterns. So anytime you can catch little positioning errors, just like you did with the girl with the elbows, do those. Good job.
Got it. Thank you. And I want to say later in the class, I think he actually does do that with a barbell, and I have to correct him.
This double under skill
oh, does he?
I think, or he tries to. You know.
So just put it out of the way.
I don't remember
Make sure
exactly.
you have a lane for your jump rope.
So it would have been better to catch it early for sure.
Yeah.
For this jump rope portion, if somebody wants a little more room, wants to come over here on this side of the rig, you
so now we're transitioning into that skill work piece, which is a Tabata double unders.
Nice.
We're gonna start with some slow high single unders. Just gonna get a little bit of practice in before we start the Tabata. Start with some slow high single unders.
Is that an RPM rope that you have?
Under twice eventually.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I actually have the gym set, so a lot of them going to use them.
Slow high.
If that was an RX rope, I'd have to turn this off right now.
Do you officially what's your connection with RPM?
I was sponsored by them for years. Like if you look back,
I've seen. Yeah,
those are all RPM ropes.
Gotcha.
There.
That's awesome.
Up there, I have, but they gave me so many for years, and I love them, and I also worked with them for a long time. I still do actually.
I've seen you on a lot of their stuff. That's why I was curious. Yeah, so that's cool. I dig it.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, RX is great too, but I think RPM is way better. All right.
Yeah, can you do more wrist, less arm? More wrist. Relax your shoulders.
Nice.
And rest, we'll work on the next one. Okay? Put your rope down. We're going to do penguin taps just to work on the timing.
Your dad's fit, man.
You're going to jump.
He's amazing. He's actually reversed his type 2 diabetes, and he's doing awesome.
Moving your hands towards your thighs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I that's incredible. So that's incredible, man. Good job.
As you're pressing off the ground in order to get the timing right. So if I did it in slow motion.
Did he do that all with you?
Yeah. Well, yes. He worked with our nutrition coach, Abby, as well, who helped him get some nutritional stuff in order. So, yeah, just diet and exercise starting with us. Yeah.
You set that example and your father followed. That's really cool, man.
Yeah. It is. It's very cool. One of the coolest parts of the last 3 years of owning the gym for sure is the fact that we've been able to help him turn that around. And it's interesting because the way he looks right now, he wasn't super overweight. He was a little bit more, he had a little bit more body fat on him, but he was like kind of like the skinny fat, I guess is what you would call it. And just his A1C was up there, and yeah, through diet and exercise, he was able to get it back down. So
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Almost before my feet come off the ground. In real time, my feet are going to come up. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Cool. So what are you looking at here now?
I'm looking for people who
relax.
just struggle with the coordination to do penguin taps. Like they're only hitting once, or they're hitting when their feet are on the ground instead of in the air, or they can't hit twice while they're in the air. So just stuff like that. I think they all did decent though with that particular progression.
They did. Danish's timing was off. He's tapping as he's landing. So
Slow motion.
But you had a thing you were
first
looking
tap
for,
is
and you can't see
Almost
everyone.
before my
But
feet come off the
it's
ground. In real time, my feet are
everyone
gonna come
else
up.
looked like they were doing great.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
See, he's patting right as he lands.
Yeah. The video
Nice,
feed is a little
relax.
laggy
Hey,
for
you can
me
do that
right
with
now.
double
Oh,
But
So
if
we're
it's
gonna
not
do
for you, that's great.
2 15-second intervals here of just some
It's not for
practice,
me.
double under practice.
Okay, good.
I live in, as the people who are in the chat know, I live in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. So the
It's better now. Like
coconuts that run my internet are weird.
Got it. It caught up, so I think it's
If
fine.
you're
It's just
still
a
working on
moment.
this skill, a good way to start working on it is with the single, double. Okay, single, double.
Dang, under the rig?
Double, and try
That's
to keep
impressive.
your jump consistent. You're just flicking fast on those double unders. If you have double unders, you just practice 2 sets of 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. We'll rest about 10 seconds in between. Keep your hands down more. You're kind of up here. Down.
Nice.
Rest. Nice, Samantha.
Nice.
Rest. 10 seconds. All right, Dad, relax those shoulders. Flick your elbows. Maybe hold the handles a little bit, like extend more of the handle out the top of your hand. Hold more on the bottom of the handle.
What are you laughing at?
I just remember this moment. This was a funny stall moment. I was not communicating
go.
clearly,
Ready,
and
set,
he
go.
could not
15 more
comprehend what I was
seconds
asking him to
practice.
do. So I had to just go up there and grab the handles. I just grabbed him, and I was like this. But anyway.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
Still
that's
gotta hold on to the handle, though.
a lot of coaching. Still got a hold of the handle. Try not to drop it.
Yeah.
There you go.
How would you change this girl in blue, your coach here?
Mm-hmm.
What would you change about
And rest. Okay.
if you wanted
All
to
right.
refine her
the
movement?
practice
What
you
would you
get?
do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have her keep her legs
All right.
straighter, so less knee bend, bounce more on the balls of her
Yeah.
feet. I think I coach her on that in the middle of the Tabata, but that's
Cool.
the main thing I see right
That's all
now.
the practice you get.
Yeah, it's like
There's
the
probably
thing-
other things.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Is like that the difference between extending and flicking and crouching and flicking. So she's like closing her body to get her legs higher rather than open and extend, which is exactly what you were saying.
Does anybody need a quick bathroom break before we start this Tabata? I knew it. Always ask before you start double under work. Okay. So as soon as
Nicole's going to be so
everybody's
happy
ready,
that we're picking
we'll
on her.
start this. It's 8 sets, 20 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest.
I can't tell if that was sarcasm or not.
Yes.
Oh, it was sarcasm. But she's
Jump
great.
for
She's great.
reps.
It's fine. It's just fun.
Bobby
No, she seems
has
great.
high
She
score
does
of
a really good
244.
job.
Sean Hanks got 242. Only he had tried just a little harder.
So I wouldn't normally do 2 bathroom breaks, but I've learned that before double unders, if you don't, there's the inevitable like, wait, I have to go.
10 seconds.
You know your people. I love it.
It does take me a while to correct Nicole, though, so I definitely could have gotten on that sooner. I think it took
Yeah,
me
and
a few,
wrist.
a few
When you go
rounds.
for that double under.
But I mean, I think it's always one of those things, right? In a class, you've got the ability to, like, the main role you have is to the people who are less competent. And they're your big kind of sore thumbs, if you will, that you need to address first. And she's quite competent. She's got double unders just fine. But where I would challenge you is like when you look at her, you could probably see that there's something there. If you could offer a little something to her quickly, like, hey, extend a bit, or hey, like just to refine her movement, then that's what'll keep people for longer and longer, right? The people who get pretty good, they get past those basic stages. Can you walk by anyone in class and offer them something? Because everyone has something they can work on.
You got whipping the ground. Whip. I'm trying to whip the ground in front of you.
That's helpful.
5 seconds.
Let's try that on this next one.
Yeah. When you tried to do your double under, you went like this. Your arms got real big. So just nice and relaxed, more wrists.
Okay. So you got him. So let's watch the girl in white who's behind her head right now. Let's give her, she's doing her thing. Okay. What's one thing you could say to her? The girl in white who just did a couple of those. Oh, it's probably laggy for you, isn't it?
It's lagging. Yeah. I'm trying to remember for her. I don't know because it's lagging. Sorry.
I'll come back. It's my fault, man. Let's watch her and I'll give you a couple and we'll just see if you can watch it and watch her movement.
Yeah. It seems like when you let it play for a while, it catches up. So I'll try to look.
More wrist when you go for that double under. Think about whipping the ground. Whip. I'm trying to whip the ground in front of you. Get 5 seconds. Yeah. When you tried to do your double under, you went like this. Your arms got real big. So just nice and relaxed, more wrists. Get out of the way. Make sure this camera's right.
It's still laggy for me, but from what I can see, it looks like she's donkey kicking a little bit.
Whipping the ground. You should be able to hear it hit the ground.
But it's definitely laggy. So I'm probably missing other stuff.
Yeah. I there's not really a correct answer. I mean, sure, she's donkey kicking, so you could correct that. What we were gonna do is I was gonna have you do that for each person. Just watch 1 or 2 reps, and then give them something. Watch 1 or 2 reps, give them something. Watch 1 or 2 reps. But if it's lagging, that's not gonna work. So I guess my larger thing would be try to make that your focus. Is like as you move around a group, just be like watch someone for 1 round, give them something. Watch the next person, give her something, because everyone has something they could do, and then that'll challenge your eye when it's on like somebody who's better and who's got their doubles. Oh, that's really great. Faster, like, or hey, keep your hands a little tighter. Like you're doing a good job when you see those things. But if you could do more of like, I love how you're sticking with him because he's having the hardest time. So he's the person you should be giving the most energy to. But I guess my challenge would be to be like, okay, where would you go? Like what would you say to your dad in one-liner as you walk by? The girl who just stopped and hit her foot, what would you say to her? The girl who's donkey kicking, how could you walk by and offer her a little something? So more is what I'm asking for.
Got it. That's helpful.
Relax, Nicole. Relax.
Like that. That was great.
You're picking your feet up.
ABC. Always be coaching.
Balls of your feet.
And I think,
better.
as Matt was saying, like always be coaching. But yeah, it's like those little touches here actually carry so much weight because they correct little tiny things, or just give them something to think about for many reps in a row. Like, hey, on these next ones, try to think about this. So that way they're not repeating a pattern, or they're not just focusing on nothing. They're not choosing something random to focus on. You're just giving them something to hang on to for a second.
Yep. Okay.
Like your guy with those tight shoulders, he could be a little bit narrower with his hands.
Same thing, John. Keep your legs straighter.
Yeah.
Like a pogo stick.
Yeah, you give him something. So that's the thing. Is like there's multiple things he could do. I saw his hands going wide. You saw him tucking his knees a lot. You gave him the pogo stick. Dude, totally down. There's so many things that you could give people that it like, sure, there could be a hierarchy and we could debate whether or not one was more appropriate than the other, but give them something, and you did, and that's great. Like that's just more of that with each person, and that's awesome. ABC.
Sweet.
Always be Cody. I know he's with a K. I'm going to move forward a little bit
Leg
out of these
straighter.
ones. You got legs straighter on that one. All right, so they do their piece. Did their doubles.
Marco? You can't
Yes, Matt. Cody's napping back there. He had a wild 4th of July, and he's still
I'll give
recovering.
you guys 60 more seconds to get geared up. John. Then we're going to do. Is that somebody's phone? Because I'm going to hold you in some positions.
It's a long transition between
Let's
things.
Check it out. Yeah.
How long was that transition?
Good job. You can't practice.
Where are we at here? They finished their doubles at 15.
Okay, one more round there.
4. All right.
So
Go ahead and
16:02.
put your ropes away.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, Dinesh. Yeah, right under your hips.
So you got. I guess
Let's
it's
talk
like
about stance. Your
not
stance
too
should be
long.
right under your hips.
16,
Everybody just jump 3
32.
times and land.
about 2 minutes.
And then let's check.
It felt
out.
longer because we're on video and there's a big lag.
Samantha, a little
Yeah.
wider. There you go, John. It's good, Dinesh. Yeah, right under your hips. All right, Marco and Nicole, get set. As they're doing that, wide grip on the PVC pipe. Arms should, when your arms are straight, the bar should be right at your hip crease. Okay, everybody go ahead and get that wide grip, full grip on the bar, Dinesh. Hook grip, knuckles down. If you can do it on PVC, it'll make it easier on the barbell. Maybe a little closer grip, Samantha. It looks almost a little wide. Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Good adjustment.
Cool. All right, and then the setup for the snatch. We're going to start just working on the
I
setup.
like how they all kind of glance up at the
Bar should be
video
right at your
occasionally.
Chin, heels down, chest up, shoulder slightly in front of the bar. Go ahead and get set. I'm going to check it. Dinesh, push your knees back and hips up.
Nice adjustment.
Right there.
Good.
Oh, it's a little bit lower. It's a little difference. Yeah, right there. Good. I like it. I like it. Good, Nicole. Samantha, sit back in your heels. There you go. Good job. Guys, stand up and relax. I'm going to reset you one more time. All right, get set again. Get set again. Samantha, see you right back to that position.
Yeah.
Your heels.
This is awesome. I love how engaged you are here. Like, this is kind of what I was asking for from the other one, where you're like, you're looking really precisely and you're trying to give someone and move along through that. You could even do more reps here. So like right after like the ins and outs, because once they reset, they're probably going to reset to a shit position if they have any patterns built up. So like you get Dinesh in a position, you say, okay, cool. And then everybody stand up. All right, reset, stand up, reset, like just a lot more in and out. You don't need to adjust too many people per thing, especially if they're feeling and looking a little tired or it's a little hot in your gym or if they're further along in it. And then you can kind of shift your eyes from person to person and then revisit people that you saw before to see if they screw up their position again.
Stand up and relax. I'd rather you get there with your stance under your hips. So maybe just like
I got hung up with Samantha a little bit here for sure. Because when I was, so she was shifting into her toes and I was trying to get her to sit back in her heels and stay balanced. But when she would shift back in her heels, she would fall backwards.
Right.
And that's kind of a recurring thing with her that I'm still trying to figure out with her a little bit. And it kind of hung me up right here a little bit.
Great. So why do we want people in their heels?
Posterior chain engagement.
Right. Do we want
Balance.
them only in their heels?
No. Yeah.
Right.
Balance.
Yeah, it's balance, right? So in a lot of times what happens is people, because we say the cue heels all the time.
Yeah.
Shift back to heels, get to heels, get to your heels, body to heels, because most people are toesy. So you hear the word heels all the time, and athletes internalize that often as like only in their heels. So you might, and with most athletes, if they're in their toes and you say heels, they'll end up flat-footed. She sounds like an athlete who, when you say heels, falls over. So you might want to adjust her to something. Say, hey, can you get in the middle of your foot for me? So readjust your own cueing to be more mid-range, or say even something like less toes. Like so it's not going to the other end of the extreme. It's which works for most people, but she sounds like the type of person who's not like that. And also clarifying for her, like, hey, you can be in your toes, but you also have to be in your heels, that kind of thing, because people kind of see it as like a one or another. And with an athlete who's constantly falling over, you say not as much, but you have to pull them back. I know the exact kind of athlete you're looking for. You're talking about though.
Yeah.
Matt Burns, just have them stay in the setup until they start shaking.
Back in your heels.
I don't agree with that method, but I hear what you're saying, Matt.
Okay. All right. Let me see it again. Everybody get set. Bar mid shin. Yeah, even like maybe think about spreading the floor apart between your feet to engage.
Okay, there you go. You went to pushing out rather than.
Set again. Yeah, that looks better right there. Good. Okay. Looks good, Heather.
Yeah, sometimes we get hung up on a person.
One more time.
It's okay.
Everybody get set.
It's like it happens in classes, man. It happens to the best of us where it's like, shit, I'll get you in a second. Like it.
Marco. All right, nice. Okay, you guys stand up, relax. So we're gonna do
a way
snatch grip deadlift.
You could mitigate something like that is if it's happening and it's not super extreme. Like she looked like she was kind of toesy, but not like only in her toes, right? It could be something where you like go back to where you were initially, and and we'll get you in just a second. Where once you get into more like individualized stuff, you can adjust her a little bit. Hey, once we break out, we'll get you between the two. And sometimes it'll even sort itself out by the time it gets there. So if you find yourself, heading down this hall of she's not getting it, it's getting worse, the class has stopped. You'd be like, you know what? We'll just go back to where you started. I screwed you up. My bad. We'll get back to this in a moment. So like if you ever find yourself getting too dark into it, then understandable. You can just pull yourself out. It's okay.
All right.
Lift to mid thigh. Looks like this. Okay, so you're not
You can
standing
talk
up all the
through
way.
this
We're just
too
going to get to this hang position. Belly button stills over the bar. I'm going to say up, and you're going to hold at that mid thigh position. All right, get set. Mid shin. You can bring your stance together just a little bit, John. And up to mid thigh and hold. All right, heels should be down. Shoulders slightly in front of the bar. That's pretty good, guys. And reset.
That is pretty good.
On this one, I'm going to be looking at your knees to make sure they go back.
I find
as
that
the bar
with
goes
that,
by.
it's so hard to get people
Ready,
to stop at
and up.
mid thigh. Everybody just wants to stand up all the way.
And reset. Call you reps
But
here.
they all actually did a pretty decent job at
And
it.
up.
So.
They did. So what was the reason you went from the bottom up?
I've gone from the top down before. I don't know. I think I just wanted to start with the setup and make sure that the stance and grip was right, and just that takeoff position from the ground.
Okay.
I've done it both ways. That might have been. Sometimes I'll just follow. Cap has warm ups and everything. Sometimes I'll follow them. Sometimes I'll change them a little bit. But I think this one I just followed what they had because I liked it.
Yeah, that was great. And it's totally valid to do it both ways. I personally find it a little easier positioning wise and mechanics through the middle to go top down. So do like a dip drive shrug, high pull, dip drive punch overhead, jump and land with it overhead, then take it to the mid thigh and then take it down past the knee. Cause then people are pulling to a position they've been to rather than pulling to a place that they haven't been yet. So like that's the only reason I like top down for the snatch.
So it's more like the Bergener warm up kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the reason he does that is because you build the positioning first and then you go to it from the ground up. You just, now we're going to add a deadlift versus we're going to like stand up to a nebulous place and I'm going to try to adjust where that place is after the fact. And it's not right or wrong to do it either way. But the reason that I personally like teaching it from top down first is because I can get them out of their head with the jump and lands and the keep the bar tight and the blah, blah, blah. And then I can go, okay, now we're going to find where that position is. And that's why I do it from the top down, but you do you. But for the future, pick a way that you like, or you can do it both ways. But just be like, I'm doing it this way today because of duh. Or I'm doing it this way today because of duh. Like I want this. And you had a great answer. You're like, I saw it in the gap thing, and I wanted to do it that way, and it worked. And I wanted to fix their position. Like it's fine. Like that's a great way to do it. But as long as you have the reasons for it, is a big part.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. The Bergener warm up or starting from the top probably would have made a lot of sense here too, because they're doing a high hang squat snatch. Just the down and finish is basically a high hang position, right?
Totally. So then you can be like,
right?
Yeah. Yes. So, yes, it is. And I think I liked referring to that as just a jump and land with it overhead, or jump and land the bottom of the overhead squat, just because then people get out of their own heads. But yeah, because they're doing that, it was an even more appropriate day to start from the top down. But you could argue that teaching it from the bottom up, because the way the progression works, one power snatch, one high hang squat snatch, one hang squat snatch, and one high hang squat snatch. You taught it in the method that they end up doing it. So that could be a good reason why you teach it from the bottom up today, because that's how it's going to go. But yeah, up to you on that. I like top down.
And
Cool.
up. There you go.
I do love how
reset.
you're getting in and out and looking really closely at
Bring your
people.
hips up just a little bit. Yeah, right there. And up.
Love the adjustments of setups.
Nice. And reset.
Ooh, they're getting tired. I like
Yeah,
it.
bring your hips down just a hair. Hips down. Hips lower. Yep. And up.
Apparently, I need to work on my
And
communication
reset.
with my dad. He didn't understand me the first time.
And
I
up.
think we all do.
Good. All right. Now we're going to add a shrug to that. So once you get that bar, that mid-thigh position, you're going to jump and shrug. And the main thing I'm looking for here is the timing of hips, then shoulders. All right? Get set. Feet a little closer, Nicole. Yep. And go.
Basil.
Yeah,
Quantum
I just saw that question. I'll look it up because it's not the standard iPhone camera. I'll tell you in just a second. It's called Movie Pro. Movie Pro.
Why didn't you use a standard iPhone camera?
Because this camera gets somehow I don't understand this stuff. Cody would probably know it better than me, but it gets a wider shot and it's just a better quality than the iPhone camera. I'm not sure why, because it's the same physical camera, but something about the processing is just looks a little nicer, I think.
It does. It looks great.
Yeah, it's just my phone.
Good. Reset.
Baller.
And you don't have to hold it there, Heather. You can
Somebody else
shrug.
told me about that app. I don't
All right, ready?
remember.
And
who.
go. Reset. So you pulled your shoulders early. I want you to squeeze your butt, then pull with your shoulders like this. Butt, shoulders. Okay? Get set.
Let's see if he does it.
Ready, and go.
Yeah,
That's better.
that was better.
Yep.
Cool.
Push through your heels. Reset. Do a couple more. If you come up on your toes, it should be a result of the hip drive. Yeah.
Good answer,
Push through your
coach.
heels. Ready? And go. Yeah. All right. We're going to do muscle snatches now. We're going to take the bar all the way overhead. Focus here is on keeping the bar close and that finished position. Want to see the bar right over midfoot with your core engaged, okay? Reset. Muscle snatch. Bring your feet together a little bit, Dinesh. There you go. And go. Hold. Bring that bar forward a little bit. Punch up.
There's the
There
one.
it is right there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Same,
Yeah.
bring that bar forward.
I like how you didn't lay into him
Like
for the
that.
weird
Good,
muscle snatch
good.
either. Like, because I know you saw it, and it was all like a weird elbow power thing. I'm a big fan of like, I'll pretend I didn't see that first one. All right, we're gonna go to the next one. You know, like because especially when you're transitioning between some of these movements, people just totally blow it. So
Yeah. The first rep is
Yep.
always like, yeah.
That's it. Right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Good job. Let's go, Kim. Relax. Reset.
I like him trying to find the overhead
All right,
position there
with
too.
your feet a little closer, Kim. Yep. Here we go. Get set. Muscle snatch and go. Go. Dad, squeeze your belly.
He's trying to find
Go
his
back on
place.
that bar just a hair. Yep. Looks good. Reset.
So one thing
one
you
more?
could do is because you saw him punch behind his head, just make sure you revisit on the next rep where he is in space, so he gets that confirmation of like, I am in the right spot. And you can do that from across the room, but just once they're up overhead, just take a quick glance at everybody's overhead positions. Dinesh, pull it forward just a little bit. That's the one. Okay, move on. Because you kind of like gave it to him, walk past, and you haven't revisited back just yet.
Got it.
One more. Muscle snatch. Ready and go.
Oh,
Smooth that up. Yeah, you got it. Go. All right, relax.
that guy is jacked.
All right, we're gonna do one more of those. We're gonna get the bar overhead. We're gonna
Yep.
do 5 overhead squats. I'll call you through a couple, and then you do a few on your own. I want you to just think hips back as you're pressing up into the bar. Okay? Go ahead and get that bar overhead. Muscle snatch it overhead. Go. Get it overhead. Get your feet in that shoulder width stance. All right, I'm gonna say down. You're gonna go down and hold. Ready? Down. Hips back. Press up. Press up. Here you go. Here you go. Press up hard, Samantha. Press up harder, Heather. Break the bar in half. Stand up. Stand up. So in the bottom here, your armpits were down.
That's another time where you could have a down up sort of deal.
All right, bring the bar overhead.
Down, adjust one person, stand up. Down, adjust another person, stand up. Just
armpits forward.
Those positions are hard to hold. And I think it's okay to ask for like some sweat there, but where they're at in the progression, everything that's going on, you could probably have a few down and ups, unless you are really quick with cueing. You tend to be like a walk around to people and cue versus stand in one place and throw them out. I think if you're a stand in one place and throw them out, you can do a few cues per rep. But if you're going to walk to people, it's kind of got to be 1 rep per person as they're going around like that.
Is there one way you prefer over another as far as walking around versus standing in the front and just cueing?
Well, I think you definitely have to walk around, and to stay still would be a mistake. But I think a lot of these big things can get done, especially in a space this size, from one place. Like you could walk left to right from the front and see a lot of things. That wouldn't mean you wouldn't want to also then cruise up the side and stuff. But I think you can stand in more, like have like 3 places around the gym, like one here, one there, and then one in the back, that you get 3 different angles on people, and you can call many reps from those places. And I think if you build a pattern from those many places, you can start to see a lot of things. That doesn't mean you don't walk around. It just means that, you get more vision on people per rep because you're standing in a single spot and you're but you have to develop an eye for that. I know a lot of coaches. I mean, the bigger the class, the more exhausted you'll be because you're running around it.
Yeah.
But I think you can see a lot from a single place if you're looking for it. That's just my personal opinion.
Gotcha. Cool.
So what's going on with Sam's squat? Can she go below parallel?
No, not in an overhead position. I mean,
but she can go below parallel in a normal squat?
She's like right at parallel when she really, really, really fights for it.
Awesome.
And it's taken her a while to get there. Like when she first started a couple years ago, it was like, she couldn't get close.
Yeah, that's all good. I mean, she's almost close, and that's great. And keep asking for as much as you can from her, because that's where, you'll make her better.
Cool. Yeah, she's made a ton of progress for sure.
I can see her fighting for it too. She's like, keeps on wanting to go deeper and deeper.
Break that bar in half.
Yeah, she's relentless with herself.
Down.
It is.
More. Press up harder.
Just make sure she's also kind to herself.
Break that. That's better.
Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Up. All right. Do 2 more on your own. 2 more overhead squats on your own.
There are definitely people who
is that
hold themselves to the highest standards, but don't give themselves any grace, and we can help them with that.
I like that. Yeah, I agree. Good reminder.
Yeah, I think we all needed it sometimes.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the complex, but in reverse. So we're going to start with the high hang squat snatch. We're going to do a hang squat snatch and then a power snatch. High hang squat snatch. You're only bending at the knees, so your hips don't flex at all. Looks like this. Jump and pull under, okay? All right, so feet should be at hip width. Go ahead and get in your stance. Feet at hip width, wide grip. Hook grip, knuckles down. All right, when I say get set, I just want to see you guys push those knees forward and out over your toes. Weight in your heels. Bring your feet together a little bit, Dinesh. All right, ready? Get set. Torso stays nice and upright. Yeah, that was good fix. Good fix. Kim, your torso should be upright. There you go. Good fix. Okay, stand, relax. This time I'm going to say get set. You're going to get in that position. I'm going to say go. And you're going to jump and pull under and do a squat. Okay, ready? Get set. And go. Ooh, nice. Go ahead and stand up. Let's hold it next time. Ready? Yeah, hold the bottom of the squat. Get set. Let's start with your feet a little closer, Samantha. All right, get set. And go. There you go. And hold.
This is awesome.
Up into that bar.
They're doing great. Look at them.
Go.
Right?
And up.
So like, yeah, so
right.
So this is a complex movement, and like it's about as detailed and weird as we get in our space. And like, you just had 2, 4, 6, 7 people move pretty damn good through it. Like, that's cool. Like, is there things you could give them to work on? For sure. And that, and you're trying to look for it, and you're seeing little things, but this is great, man. Like, this is a great success. Like, when you get a group of 7 people moving pretty good through a high hang squat snatch, like, that's awesome. Like,
Thanks, man.
All right, do 3 more of those on your own. High hang squat snatch.
So this is the first time I had them do reps on their own. Do you have any thoughts about that? Like, how many coach called versus having them do a few reps on their own? Like, a lot of times, in particular in the cap notes, they'll say, like, they recommend, like, call a few, have them do a few, call a few, have them do a few, which sometimes I'll do that. Yeah. I think I didn't in this class because it is so technical. Like, I knew there was going to be a lot I needed to work on, but yeah, just curious if you have any thoughts about that.
I think it's totally movement dependent and group dependent. And I think there's parts of progressions where it doesn't make any sense to have them go do any on their own, because all they are is just a piece of the progression. I think once you get to the end of the movement, so this is a full movement, right? So it's part
of the complex.
First, correct. So having them do a few on their own to just get some muscle memory of, hey, this is important. Then it raises that above the dip hold. You don't have them dip hold a bunch of times on their own, because that's not part of the full movement. You're calling them through that. And then you say, okay, do a couple of the full movement on your own. That's totally appropriate. I'm a much bigger fan of having people do stuff on your command at almost all times until the workout starts, because then it sets the tone for how everything's going. But once you get to the full movement of things, there's always an opportunity to be like, all right, now give me just 5 quick. Or if you're not seeing any sort of faults, all right, give me like 5 or 6 on your own as you move through it, and then you can kind of scan the room for anything else that pops up. So I think it's a balance, but I'm a big fan of as many reps calling as possible. Basil Quatamesh. So in these chats, sometimes people have real names and sometimes people have totally not real names.
I've seen that. Yeah.
I'm going to guess this is his real name, unless there's a way that I say this fast, then all of a sudden it comes out of nowhere and I end up saying some swear word. Would you recommend keeping the PVC in the coach's hand during the specific warm up? I think he means, like, would you have the PVC and walk around with the PVC? Is that what I'm hearing?
I think that's what he's asking. I've heard, like, Jason Ackerman talk about that a little bit. Like, don't be Gandalf with the staff. Just, like, walk around with it all the time if you don't need it.
Yeah, he's just pissed because Gandalf is taller than all the hobbits, and no, I think
I think that's what he's referring to. Yeah,
I think it's okay to keep the PVC. I think unless you're making it weird, like you have to make it weird. I tend to put my PVC down a lot because I like to move in and out of people. But then I get stuck sometimes demoing without a PVC, which ends up being a little weird. So this type of a day, you're probably going to find yourself demoing the snatch a lot. So I think it's okay to have the PVC. If it was like a Cindy and you're walking around with a PVC all day, that looks weird, right? Like, because you're like, why do you have a PVC? What's wrong with you? Whereas a snatch day that you're going in and out of snatch movements, I think this would be the day that would be appropriate. Also, if Matt said, like, if you're walking around and you're like leaning on your PVC like a douche, then that's probably a bad idea too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been guilty of that
term.
for sure.
I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, like, we all coach a lot of classes. And you build a level of comfort with your people. So there's times where you catch yourself, leaning on a set of boxes, and then you're like, wait a second, probably not, like, as long as it never degrades to sitting on your phone and you catch yourself, that I think there's a time and place for leaning up against the wall after your 5th class of the day, if that's your go-to style, no dice. But I think there's a reality to the fact that we get tired, and we've coached 6 classes in a day, for many weeks in a row. And as long as that doesn't become your MO and how people see you as a lazy turd, then I think we have to give ourselves some graces occasionally. But you can always think of it like if Glassman and Nicole Carroll walked into your gym and watched you coach, would you be okay with what they're seeing? And it's a pretty good lens to just be like, oh, okay, I got to be a little bit more serious. Because there's definitely times I found myself where I was like, I'm really glad no one walked in on this because that wasn't as good as it could have been.
Yep,
I've had those guys walk into my classes many times.
I bet, man. that must be nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's so bad. And it's even worse these days because I teach level 1s and level 2s still. And occasionally they'll just pop into a level, like Castrol will show up at the level 2 and you're like, okay. Gosh, damn, I'm in the middle of one of the lectures. Yeah.
Well, I've heard stories about Glassman like jumping in the middle. Like if he was visiting something like that and the coach he didn't think was doing a good job, he would just like jump in and correct the coach or take over,
Totally. He would jump in and take lectures. It was like, and I'm a flow master. And so I'll manage the seminar and you'll have these time slots, a lot of different things. And then you'll get a text that morning, be like, hey, right around 11, Greg's going to show up and deliver some stuff. And we'll be like, okay. Like,
yeah.
And of course you're going to say yes. And it's always amazing. And I never saw him like, hey, you're doing a bad job. I'm going to pull you out. It was never like that. It was just like, it's just nerve wracking. I mean, the guy founded all of this. So and he's really good at it, but he was never mean about it. Cool. Dave was almost scarier. And Nicole is really scary, really scary. That's an intense woman.
Wow.
Right.
Oh, John's hopping forward.
Cool. So that's the high hang squat snatch. The hang squat snatch, you're going to start by breaking at the knees like we just did, but then you're going to push your hips back.
One thing I might do that you never actually had them do is you had them dip and hold, and then from this position, go into the hang. It starts from the high position. So you go dip, drive, just same way you wouldn't do a push press and go dip, hold, and then drive. You would pass through it. So just make sure that if you're going to use the dip and hold as part of the progression, then actually have them do a couple where it's just jump and land without the hold portion of it.
I got you. Yep.
Ironically enough, when you said do 5 on your own, nobody held it. Everyone just kind of jumped through it. But just make sure you explicitly state like we don't pause there. It's a stretch reflex that we're looking for in that.
Got it.
Back to get into that hang position, jump hard, and pull under into your squat. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. I'll call you through a couple. You do a couple on your own. I get set, feet hip width.
Got to chalk up for that PVC pipe.
Knuckles down.
It's very humid in Tennessee right now. I will say.
Back, the bar should lower to right above your knees, chest up.
You're saying it's more humid than Northern California? What?
Oh, yeah.
And go.
If you can believe it.
Go.
I whenever I travel to the South, I get off the plane and I'm like, what the hell?
I know. Yeah. It's crazy.
All right, let's do another one. I'm going to hold you in the bottom of this one. Reset your feet back to hip width. A little closer.
We have like a contingent of people
Set.
Who are from Northern California because a lot of them have moved to Tennessee.
Back.
And
go.
It's funny. Their first summer here, it's just like
And stand.
they can't believe how humid it is.
Oh no, it's nutso.
I want you to jump harder, so make sure your hips.
Okay,
all the way.
so this is interesting.
So
So
when
what
you
you
jump,
saw was
think
he
about
was keeping his
Ready?
hips shut.
Get set.
Yep.
So watch him on this one.
Position,
I don't know if you can see it or if it's delaying
back,
stuff.
And
It's
go.
good now.
Okay.
And
So
stand.
you saw him and then you went in, you're saying, okay, jump a little harder. Another fun one to add in a progression like this from the high hang down to the mid thigh is you can use it as like a squeeze go rather than just like go to the mid thigh and then do the same thing you did before. He's kind of just rushing from the mid thigh. So you can think about it as like a squeeze, get upright, find that other position, and then go. So they're hitting that squeeze into it. So it kind of builds it up as a ramp because that's what the snatch ends up being, right? It's position it past the knee, squeeze to position, fire, and then you just kind of limit that transition down. So you're doing a good job of saying, hey, I want you to jump harder,
So
get a little
make sure your hips
aggressive.
open
So
all
he's
the way.
actually getting up.
So when you jump, think about shooting your head up to the ceiling. Nice and tall.
Yeah. Let's see what he does.
Another one?
But using that like transitional squeeze and then go, I tend to find
All right, here we go.
people
I like
in
that.
those positions a bit
That
better.
knees
I like that.
forward, hip back, chest
I'm gonna
up.
use it. Gonna steal it.
There you go. Push your knees
Please
down.
do.
Yeah, right there. All right, ready? Jump hard and go. There you go. It's better than whoo. Too hard. You all right?
But you see how he's rushing it straight from the
Do three more
thigh?
on your
He's
own,
just
guys.
going for
Yeah.
it. He's
Yep.
not getting to that upright position before he goes. Yeah, so he's just
You
rushing
didn't
it from
jump as
there.
hard that time. You didn't jump
And you're
as hard.
going
So
after the
when you
jump,
I
which
want you to
isn't
squeeze your butt
incorrect.
and your quads as hard as you can.
But I
Really
think
hard.
you could go to why is he not upright by the time he's going? Oh, there we go. He did it on that one.
That's better.
Yeah,
And he almost waited on that one.
I told him to
Okay.
squeeze his quads on that one. That was the cue I just gave him.
All right.
Hey, and it
And
worked.
then we have your power snatch. Power
But
snatch.
I like the squeeze and go. It's
So
cool.
mid shin again, and that first pull back in. I want you to think slow, then fast once it's past your
Yeah,
knees.
this is kind of what you're talking about here.
And remember,
Yeah,
this is not a full squat. This is a power snatch.
I don't know. I haven't really thought of that as from the hang position, but I definitely notice it all the time when people take it from the floor where they just rip it off the floor right away. So
Totally.
yeah, but I like that from the hang position too. It's good.
Yeah. And Johnny comments and says, best cue is the one that works 100%. And X-Slop says, I am behind, but I want you guys to know that I'm pretty sure that's your real name and your real photo. And then the what's interesting is like when you're doing from the top down and you're talking about that kind of squeeze go thing, you don't actually move that slowly once you're actually doing a lift. But you can transition like the kinesthetic awareness of pulling to a more upright position before you really get aggressive transfers really well for a lot of people. And then it's more about that positioning pull past the knee, which is what you're going over now.
Snatch. So receive above parallel. All right. I want you to do 5 power snatches on your own. And then we're going to load up.
Oh, interesting.
Get tall. Squeeze your butt and quads. Yeah. That's better. Your hips came forward that time, so squeeze your quads also really hard in your extension.
So I'm talking to John right now.
Yeah,
John is
I see you.
jumping forward.
Yeah.
Jump harder, Dinesh.
Yeah. So
That's
Still didn't extend your
the
hips all
guy
the
who
way.
just asked that question, flow state guy. That's a great question. That was like when I rewatched this, one of my critiques for myself was that I think I hung out, especially during this part, I hung out in the front a lot and probably missed a lot of stuff in the back. So I think that's probably a good question. Or at least I felt that way.
Yes. But not cross circle. I would go cross room, cross line. Yeah. I think it'd be a really easy thing to do to even mix up yourself, like head to the back of the room. And if you want to keep cueing these people in the front, do it from the back of the room. So that way you see a little different perspective and you force yourself to see some other people. That is where movement is really good is when you get stuck in a place, move somewhere else intentionally. And then even if you want to go back to that place, try to be from the other place and coach them from far away, if possible. But yeah, I think you really could stand even where you're at and just look down the line a little bit at a few more people.
Cool.
You kind of run into the same thing with him where he's not opening up his hip and you are giving him the kind of the same thing, jump a little harder, go like remember, this is kind of the opposite of what, the other girl who falls over backwards when you tell her to go to her heels. He's doing the opposite where he's not responding to the stimulus that you're giving him. So he's not being aggressive enough. So like, what would be the extreme version of not opening up your hip?
Extreme version of not opening up your hip.
Yeah.
Like keeping it flexed.
The extreme opposite of not opening up your hip.
Oh.
It'd be like leaning back,
okay.
or it'd be like humping forward, or it'd be like something where it's like, what's the other end of the spectrum? Because you're saying the right thing, which is up, right? Because that's where we want the bar to go. But if someone is not responding and they're too soft with everything that you're doing, then you can go to the other side. So he's like the other girl, you said go to your heels and she fell over backwards. You're saying jump and he's not doing, he's jumping, but he's not it's not having the stimulus happen. So what's the extreme version of that? And you can be like, I want you to hump the wall in front of you, or I want you to squeeze your butt. I want you to lean back at the top. Like if you're looking to get more, you can go the far end of the direction. And if he goes there, then you say a little less, So unpack that when you get something that's not working, like, hey, this cue is not working. Try a bigger version of it. Try going further and be like, it's still not happening. Go beyond it, and then see if they land somewhere in the middle.
Cool. That's good.
John, too, you were telling him to get tall and all that kind of stuff. Not incorrect, but John is impatient. He's shifting to his toes too soon, which is why he has that hop forward. So he's pulling off and he's going to jump and he's just in his toes too soon. So he just has to be back further for longer.
So squeeze your butt and your quads.
There you go. Let's see if he does it.
Tall.
I like how he's laughing at you or with you.
That's better.
That was better.
It could still get bigger though.
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. Like, get bigger, right? So it's like squeeze your butt in your quads, and you say that, but 10 times more. And the more excited you get with it, the more he's gonna want to dive into it. And I love that you validate it. Hey, that's better. But yes, and more, bigger, and see if you can get him to go the extreme other direction. Because a soft lift, that won't work in the snatch, right? Like we go to be soft in the snatch, and that shit's going nowhere.
Right.
So what I want you to do
I want to see what happens once you get to a barbell.
Yeah.
We're done, but I'm going to watch this in just a second.
That's fine.
Your high hang squat snatch. So you're not supposed to hinge at the hip at all.
He's doing the same
And
thing.
you still did.
He's super soft, that midsection.
Bent over.
Oh, I didn't even know where I was. I just heard my voice. Okay, I'm way in the back.
I did
All right.
too. I was like, where are you?
Working with Kim.
You bowed forward. Yeah, just stand here right now and do it. Knees forward, torso stays upright. It's like
every 2 minutes for
in a
20
jerk,
minutes.
vertical torso.
Yeah.
Is there a timer going right now?
Yeah, there is. Yep. I'm a big fan of using the clock for sure, so I don't have to pay attention as much.
Yeah. To the time. All
It all
right.
starts with a good setup.
I just don't have to remember to call it out.
Balance, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow, that was good, Sam.
Stay in those heels when you land as you're squatting. There you go. That's better. It's better.
So she's doing all of hers from the hang?
Yeah.
No, I think those
I
were
would
just her
rather
two,
you stay
the high
balanced
hang
like
and the
that,
hang.
Heels down, even if it means you're not quite
Because so
squatting as low.
at the end of the progression, I taught it in reverse. It goes power snatch, hang, high hang. I think maybe we just caught the last two, but I could be wrong. Maybe she did do it all from hang.
So it's power snatch,
Yep.
hang,
Hang
and
squat
hang
snatch.
squat, and then hang, and then high hang squat snatch?
Correct.
Okay.
Power,
Gotcha.
hang squat, high hang squat.
Okay.
And I feel like I'm not going as well. Should I just go back up and then do a squat?
You should stay at a weight where you're able to squat.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So don't add weight until you can get that range of motion balanced.
Telling her where she's good is a good one for her. Continuing to be like, this looks really good. Doesn't know. Hey, this looks really good. I like this. Try that. I think
Yep.
you validate what she's doing.
Your audio is getting a little funky, Pat. I don't know why. It's almost like when you backed up from the mic, it got funky.
Is it okay there?
That's better, I think. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good. That's
What I was just saying was continuing to validate where she's doing well is really good for her.
Cool. Yeah, that's a good reminder. I can probably be too matter of fact about what I see and sometimes forget to encourage people. So that's good.
Do it like this though in your own head is like, if someone does something well, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
And take that as a personal win. Like, you did that. So be like, hey, yes. And just let them
You're
know
cooling early.
and
Delay your
let them
arm
know
bend.
what it is that they did well.
That was better with the arm bend. That one looked a lot better.
He dad's overhead stuff. Yeah, I get
Arm
it.
straighter,
Yeah.
longer.
Working on his early pull here.
Yeah.
Early arm bend.
Yeah. It's really hard in like
Yeah.
some of these because you feel like you have no power, like especially if you're not used to these. So when people are panicking and they're here and they're like, I just gotta go, like that initial like that little piece they want to do really bad. It's one of the reasons I like a really dynamic. You stand tall, okay, jump and land, and like okay, keep your arms straight, jump and land, jump and land, jump and land. So that way they don't feel stuck there. And then there's also two ways to do a hang squat snatch. You can either start from the top of the knee and pause, or you can go down, up. So like you don't have a pause. I usually offer people the option and will guide someone one way or another based off of what they're doing with their movement. So it would be power snatch. Then it would be hang. So you go top of the knee, go, and then it would be high hang. Just not pausing in them, especially if they're early arm bending like Pops is.
Put the bar down. So when you're receiving the bar, you're only bending at your knees. So it starts with just bent knees. That's good. But then you're receiving it like this too. When you receive it, you need to receive it with your hips back like a squat.
Nice.
So from here,
good hip function.
Back.
Yeah.
Even if you don't go all the way down to squat, still it's back.
Yeah.
Let's watch this next group. See where you go.
So delay the arm bend and then receive with your hips back. Yeah. That was better with the arm bend. Hips back more when you receive it. There you go. Better.
Yeah. And you're just getting a little stuck on Pops and stuck in certain places. I think this would be a good time to watch Pops from across the room and see if anything jumps out at you in between, right? See if you catch Danish's stuff or Sam's stuff or John's stuff. Yeah. I mean, all in all, I think we're good. I think you did great. Like I like if you look around this group, like are these guys going to the Olympics? No. Are they all moving pretty safely and quite dynamically through a really hard movement? For sure. And I think that honestly, you could probably push a few of these people to go even heavier. You know, you could push them in ways to move more aggressively, move a little bit sharper. And I think that the time that you spend like in the front end of class, like having a little bit more touches will give them the confidence to do so. Like taking Danish and having him jump up a little earlier, quicker, because like he's got capacity. He's just reining in kind of a body that's going all over the place. I don't know how much you've said to the girl behind Sam. It seemed like she got a little lost. But if that's common, where you tend to get wrapped on the person who's the biggest red flag in a group, then come workout time is a perfect time to just be like, I'm here for one set. I'm here for the next set. I'm here for the next set. I'm here for the next set. And just be very methodically moving around the group, trying to give at least like, you know, some focus for each person, especially on a day like this where it's pretty complex. You can pick something at the front end of the day to be like, okay, I want you focusing on speed under the bar. And that's your main focus for the day. And then I want you to be focusing on the turnover. And I want you to be focusing on pushing the knees out of the way at the start. And I want you to be focusing on your squat, Sam, you know? And then, so like each person has their own little focus, and then you can like comment on what you see as you go. Cause that way everyone has their own little goal. But all in all, like I said, like these people are doing a great job. I think the class was great. I think it would be even better with music, especially if it was your music that was playing in the background. where I would, the bigger overarching things, 'cause we talked about a bunch of stuff in between. The bigger overarching things is I would get more touches on more people, even earlier on. And I would try to just do that very methodically throughout the class. Like get everyone seen, even if they're good, offer them something. Offer them like, hey, that's really good. Faster under the bar. Hey, that's really good. Start with your feet a little bit straighter. Because you can see that stuff if you're really being like, I'm going to offer them something. Not like, I hope something jumps out at me, but like you watch the girl who's the coach move and say, I'm going to offer her something on this next rep. Even if it's not groundbreaking, it can be something. That, and then cueing across the class a bit more. Don't like look around and see if you can get more people more often, I should say.
Yep.
Cool.
That's helpful.
Cool. Good job. You need anything else? You have any questions?
I mean, a lot of the things you said helped a lot. I would say one thing that I probably struggle with is when there are more advanced like I think I'm decent with newer athletes where the faults are obvious. With more advanced athletes, sometimes I struggle to give valuable feedback and coaching, but you address that, I think, of just making sure, even if it's just something small, like there's something I can help them with.
Well, that's what it is. So that's what happens with advanced athletes. The things that you're giving them are small. But I think, and even if you give them the wrong thing, it gives them something to focus on. And advanced athletes want that. They want a little something to cling on to. So even if you give them like, I want your knuckles being bluer when you start, they'll be like, bluer knuckles. All right, bluer knuckles. I got to focus on blue knuckles this time.
Focus on
Totally. Like, and what you have to do is if you want to feel more confident at helping more advanced athletes is you just have to start giving them those little things and then watching whether or not it makes the overall movement better. Right. Because you're not going to pick apart. You're not an Oli coach. They're not going to the Olympics. Can you mildly improve some of the movement? For sure. And it's not as hard as it seems. Just look at them, be like, it needs to be faster. What's one thing I could say to make it faster? Stomp harder on this next one. Like you can give them those. And then if it makes it worse, you go, just kidding. Not that. But just be willing to give out a cue that doesn't feel very, it doesn't feel exact or precise or anything along those lines. It just could be tiny. And that's all they really want. At least that's all I've ever seen them want.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like it.
Well, yeah, good job.
I appreciate it, Pat. It's really helpful. I love that you guys do this and take the time to go through a whole 60-minute class. So thank you.
Hell yeah. Well, only 45 minutes and 12 seconds of it, but yes. Yeah. That's a lot further than I've made it in some, Cody can tell you.
Well, it was super helpful. Appreciate it.
Of course, Joe. Look forward to seeing another one in the future.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Best Hour of Their Day podcast. We appreciate you listening and choosing to have us help you in your passion for coaching and affiliate ownership. You can find more episodes just like this on all podcast platforms. If you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to us on any social media platforms, or you can visit www.besthouroftheirday.com to book a call. If you found this episode helpful for you, please share it so that we can help other coaches and affiliate owners to help build a bigger and stronger CrossFit community. Thanks for listening.